Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be talking about Overwatch League results. Oh my god, it's back! Week 15 just finished and this is also the beginning of the summer showdown. There's a lot we need to cover in this episode. Obviously, have a look at next week's matches as well for some very good matches, we'll say. So obviously this is the first week also for the East matches. East region, so I think Seoul, Hangzhou, I think that might be really good. Other ones, maybe NYXL and Vancouver. Maybe Toronto Fuel. Toronto have been looking really good now. That's really else. Shanghai and Spark, that might be good. Valiant and Fusion. Spitfire and Outlaws, that might be really good. Shock vs Gladiators, that'll probably be interesting because of the very dip of performance of one of these teams. Justice and Mayhem might be good. Rain vs Paris maybe. Some pretty decent matches coming up next week. But let's have a look at this week's matches because this is what we all really care about. This is what this week's matches looks like. What the hell is happening? We'll say that first. But first of all, we got the London Spitfire versus the Florida Mayhem. It was a 3-1 victory for the Florida Mayhem. Checkmate got MVP. Pretty close game. I mean, Hollywood was basically a full hold by the Mayhem against the Spitfire, but it was the Mayhem winning that one. NYXL versus Outlaws. This is also with Asuna J, who has joined the team, and not Myungmong. Is it Myungmong? No, it's Gundam Jin. Gundam Jin has left the team, even though it was a bit awkward because the social media didn't act, because the NYXL social media team actually didn't announce it because I don't know, something about the management. It was actually the social media guys as well. I don't think it was just the management, but you can obviously look it up. I mean, they legit put like a full like those important posts or like this paragraph post or like what the picture of what they were talking about. So it's all good though. But either way, it was a reverse sweep for the NYXL against the Houston Outlaws. We also got some 2 new players, that being Doge and Lep. Piggy has also left the team as well, so that might be a bit of a downgrade for them. But anyway, great result for the NYXL. Very weird result as well. Yeah, like Gladiators versus the Dallas Fuel. It was actually the Dallas Fuel who won this. I don't know what the hell is happening to the Gladiators. I mean, yeah, when they lost, it was very, very close, but still. I thought the Fuel was going to be pretty easy for the Gladiators, but so, well, yeah, but it wasn't, surprisingly. It was pretty difficult, and the Fuel definitely showed it, and hopefully they can show this as well when it gets to the playoffs for the Summer Showdown. Next up, we got the Boston Uprising versus the Atlanta Reign, and it was the Boston Uprising winning. That Punk got MVP. What? I mean, I think the Uprising also got Seeker. Seeker has now come in age, so he's now off the inactive roster, and he is now. I don't know if he actually played on this, but if so, if he actually did play, that is massive for the Uprising because that means they're actually a pretty decent looking team now, surprisingly. But yeah, we just have to wait and see if how it goes in the future of the season. The Washington Justice versus the SF Shock. I don't know how this was so close, but it was. I think Vigilant, I think he's now coming in, so he can now play, and I think that probably helped them. The Shock, over time, they're looking a bit more, what's what I'm trying to look for? They're looking a bit more weak, or I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word right now. I have a mind blank, but they're looking vulnerable. There we go, vulnerable. They're looking more vulnerable. Day to day, we get closer to the playoffs. Look, they're looking incredibly vulnerable and pretty weak now against some of these teams, which we didn't really expect them to actually be this close to, especially against Justice. But the Shock still won that in a reverse sweep either way. And then the Toronto Fire versus Vancouver Titans. Obviously, this is the battle of the Canadians. It was actually really close. The Toronto Fire did win it, but it was still incredibly close. 3-2 victory for the Defiant. He still got MVP. Very close game for the Canadians. Next up, Spitfire versus Uprising. A 3-0 victory for the London Spitfire. Admiral got MVP. I mean, Uprising, they've been very consistent, but what can you do? I mean, they're probably the most inconsistent team I've ever seen in this tournament, or in this season. Next up, the Washington Justice versus the Paris Eternal. Very easy win for the Washington Justice as they sweep past all 3 maps against the Eternal. DK got MVP. This one, oh boy, the LA Gladiators versus the Houston Outlaws, and it was the Houston Outlaws winning this one against the Gladiators. I mean, I don't know what's happening to the Gladiators, man. I mean, yeah, it's still close games, but I thought this one was also pretty easy. I thought, like, Outlaws, like, they got 2 new players, Piggy's out. I thought it was gonna be a bit weak. No, looks like I think wants to try shoe on DPS or some stupid. I don't know what the hell's happening. The Gladiators haven't really said anything about what has happened to the team or like anything from them, so we don't know if like maybe like someone's sick or someone's bench or they're trying something new. No idea what's happening to them, but that cost them massively now. They're currently 0-2 coming into next week of week 16. Oh boy, this is going to be very interesting if you're a Gladiators fan. Next up, we got the Vancouver Titans versus the Paris Eternal. I did say this was going to be a pretty close match. It kind of wasn't. 3-0 for the Vancouver Titans. This is also the Titans' first win of the season. So they're definitely out of contention of making it to the playoffs, but at least they can maybe pick up some bits and pieces along the way, especially this one against the Paris Eternal. Next up, the SF Shock versus Florida Mayhem. They look a lot better now. I mean, the Mayhem kind of struggled. I mean, they got 3-0'd by the Shock. But, I mean, it's the Shock, what else do you expect? Hopefully, the Justice one was just a bit of a hiccup. The Dallas Fuel versus the NYXL. I mean, this one was pretty close as well, but it was the Fuel when that one hadn't been got MVP. And finally, the Toronto Defiant against the Atlanta Reign. The Toronto Defiant somehow freaking found something because they look unstoppable. They look really, really good now. I mean, the Reign's also probably maybe, I don't know, maybe got hit with something. I've noted what the hell happened to the Reign. But not a great sign, once again, if you're a Reign fan. But if you're a Toronto Defiant fan, you are probably ecstatic and jumping up and jumping out of your seat because this is a good step of the direction for your team. For this in this tournament. Let's have a look at the West standings, and currently the SF Shark is obviously on top. Then we've got the Dallas Fuel and Toronto Fire, they're all tied for 2nd place. Then the Vancouver Titans and the Washington Justice tied for 4th. That's something I was not expecting. The Vancouver Titans actually inside of the top 8. Then we got the London Spitfire, the Houston Outlaws, and the Boston Uprising, Florida Mayhem, and the NYXL all tied for 8th place. Then we got the LA Gladiators in 11th, Atlanta Reign 12th, and the Paris Eternal in 13th. Obviously, the East region, they have not started yet, so I'm not really going to be talking about that side at all. For the stuff that really happened, like, during the mid-break, if I can actually try and find it. Yeah, so I'll just go along with this. Shockwave, he left the team. Kuki also left the NYXL. So to replace Shockwave and Titans is King, who it's probably now a lot better than Shockwave. Aprita, Jimmy, and Zernas, who was originally Evital. Both of them have been upgraded from a 2-way contract to a full contract with the Guangzhou Charge. See how they go. Seeker, he is now off of the inactive roster after becoming an age of 18. Spring Chip, she has joined the Florida Mayhem. Well, she's actually rejoined the Florida Mayhem as the assistant manager. Leji, who I questioned a lot, who is still on this team, has now finally left the team. Sunjae and Myeongbong, actually, not Gangnam Myeongbong. Both of them have basically swapped places. Sunjae will be now in the NYXL. Myeongbong is now a free agent. Houston Outlaws changed as well. Lep and Doge, both of them have joined the team. Piggy has left. There's also rumors that maybe Pelican might be also leaving. I think also one other player. I think that being Iris, if I remember correctly. So the Outlaws may be doing a lot of changes coming into next year. Including me. I'm going to do some changes, especially on the Overwatch side. But yeah, that's really about it. Obviously, we'll have a look. We'll just have a quick, a little quick glance again of next week's matches, which is this one, which I'm gonna be hiding. There we go. So this is next week's matches, as you can see. So that's really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys all next time in the next one. Goodbye.